Welcome to Lesson 1. In this course, we focus on recognizing meaning in the Quran as you read and listen. In this first lesson, we begin with simple, high-impact building blocks that appear again and again in the Quran. We are not starting with complex grammar rules. We are starting with patterns that help meanings stand out naturally. Let us begin. Take a moment and look at the root shown here. These 3 letters carry a core meaning. In this example, the root points to writing, marking. Now notice how the same root appears again and again.
كتب كاتب كتاب كتب مكتب.
The letters stay familiar, even though the words look different. You do not need to memorize any of these words. Just notice the repetition. When you recognize the root, meaning begins to connect naturally. A single root gives rise to many related words. This is how Arabic builds meaning, through families of meaning, not isolated words. These patterns repeat throughout the Quran. With continued exposure, they become easier to notice over time. Now let us look at another example. Here is a different root. These 3 letters point to learning and education. Notice how the same root appears across different words.
درس درس مدرسة تدريس مدرس.
The letters remain familiar, even as the meanings expand. You may see an action, an idea, or a person or place connected to that idea. You do not need to memorize these words. Just notice how the meaning stays connected. One root, many related words. If you would like a moment to familiarize yourself with these, click pause now and continue when you are ready. Now, let us look at how one word can appear in different forms. Here, the core word stays the same. Only the ending changes slightly.
كتب كتبت كتبوا كتبنا.
These small changes point to who is involved in the action. You do not need to memorize these forms. Just notice how the meaning remains familiar. As you listen to the Quran, these patterns will appear again and again. For now, simply observe how small changes create related meanings. If you would like a moment to look these over, click pause now. Now let us look at the same root again. This time, notice how the word changes. The core meaning still feels familiar, but small changes in the word shape how the action is understood. You may notice who is doing the action. You may notice whether it is happening now, before, or as a command. You do not need to memorize these forms.
يكتب تكتب يكتبون نكتب اكتب.
If you would like a moment to look these over, click pause now and continue when you are ready. This is a real word from the Quran. At first glance, it may look complex. You're not expected to understand every part of it. What matters right now is this. This entire word comes from a single root.
حسب. أفحسبتم.
That root carries the meaning of thinking or supposing. Even in a longer word, the core meaning remains present. Some meaning comes from how the word begins, and some meaning comes from how it ends. We will learn those parts later. For now, do not analyze. Just notice this. One root inside a real Quranic word already gives you a sense of meaning. If you would like a moment to look at the word calmly, click pause now and continue when you are ready. Here is another real word from the Quran. This word comes from a different root. That root carries the meaning of making something easy.
يسر فسنيسره.
Even though the word looks long, the core meaning is still there. What matters here is this. In Arabic, meaning is layered. It comes from the root, the beginning of the word, and the ending of the word. For now, you are simply learning to notice this. Later, we will unpack these layers step by step. If you would like a moment to look at this word calmly, click pause now and continue when you are ready. These are very common word starters in the Quran. They attach to the beginning of words and add meaning. Look at this example. You can see the word jinn and the word people. Now notice what happens at the beginning.
ال و.
One starter adds the meaning, the. Another starter adds the meaning, and. The main word stays the same. Only extra meaning is added at the start. These starters appear again and again in the Quran. You are not memorizing rules. You are training your eyes to notice meaning as it forms. For now, just recognize the pattern. If you would like a moment to look at this calmly, click pause now and continue when you are ready. Now listen to this part of the verse as it is recited.
من الجنة والناس.
These are some of the most common nouns in the Quran.
الله. رب. أرض. قوم. آية. كل. رسول. يوم. عذاب. سماء. نفس. شيء.
You will see these words again and again. Together they appear in about 10% of the Quran. You are not expected to memorize this list. The goal is recognition. As you read and listen, these words will start to feel familiar. Even recognizing a few of them can noticeably improve your understanding. Later in the course, we will meet these words again in real verses. For now, just let your eyes get used to them. If you would like a moment to look over this list calmly, click pause now and continue when you are ready. Here is something you will notice often in the Quran. Some words change at the end when they refer to many. Look at this word, Muslim.
مسلم مسلمون مسلمين.
When it becomes many, the ending changes. The same pattern appears here. Believer,
مؤمن مؤمنون مؤمنين.
Again, the ending changes when it refers to many. You do not need to memorize this. Just recognize the pattern. When you see endings like these, they often point to more than one. If you would like a moment to look at these calmly, pause the video now and continue when you are ready. This slide is only for awareness. In Arabic, not all plurals add an ending. Sometimes the word itself changes shape.
سماء سماوات ملك ملائكة قلب قلوب.
You can see that here. One word becomes many by changing its internal pattern. You will see this in the Quran. Do not memorize this. Just know that it exists. Over time, these forms become familiar through repetition. Now try the map technique on this verse. Remember, the English translation at the bottom represents the final meaning, not a word-by-word structure. First, read the English translation and understand the overall message. Click pause now if you need time. Now look at the Arabic. Use the word-by-word translation as a guide to see how Arabic words connect to that meaning. Do not worry if you do not recognize every word. Focus only on what feels familiar. Notice what feels different this time. Several words already feel familiar, particularly those highlighted in green. Next, listen to the recitation. Try not to look at the English translation. If needed, glance at the word-by-word translation instead. Click pause now and continue when you are ready.
وَلِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ.
Take a moment to notice this. You are now recognizing 12 Quranic words. These are some of the most frequent words in the Quran. Together, they account for roughly 10% of Quranic words. Even at this early stage, your recognition has already grown. You did not memorize long lists, and you did not study heavy grammar. You trained your eyes and ears to notice what appears again and again. This is the foundation of the course. From here, everything builds naturally.